dinosaur egg. G'day kids, Ozzie here. Now just before we get stuck into today's episode, if you haven't seen it already, our merchandise is now live on our website, aussieforkids.com, where you can get all of your favourite Aussie items, like the Aussie hat, made especially for kids' heads, or the mini replica Aussie tee. How cool is that? All for our mini Aussie fans. And if you love Aussie that much, you can even get 3 things in a combo: a hat, a shirt, and a sweatband, all on our website. But one of my favourite items is this one, the Aussie socks, with this little touch here. Stay keen, kids, as always. Available right now on our website, aussieforkids.com. In the meantime, kids, enjoy this episode and stay keen.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of mine.
G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie.
G'day kids, Ozzie here. Now who loves playing with balloons? Yeah, I do too. So let's make some dinosaur eggs. That's right, we're going to take the good old balloon and one of my favourite things, the dinosaur, and we're going to make some dinosaur eggs. So all you're going to need is some balloons and some toy dinosaurs. You can try with big dinosaurs or you can try with little dinosaurs. So this is how it's done, kids. The idea is to get one of these dinosaurs inside one of these balloons. So to start, you're going to want to get that balloon really stretchy and warmed up so that that dinosaur can fit inside. It's a bit of a tricky part, so you might need the help of a grown-up. So once you've got it all stretchy and warmed up, then you want to try and get that dinosaur inside there. And you've got to be careful not to pop the balloon. So there you go, kids. There's one dinosaur in one balloon, and that's ready for the next step, which is filling it with water, tying a knot in the top and popping it in the freezer and letting that dinosaur egg set. Now there are a few different ways to do that. That is a little bit tricky. So another way is to stretch that balloon open, put a couple of fingers in there like that, and then you take your little dinosaur and you just lay it on there like that. And then you gently pull the balloon inside out over the top of the dinosaur, just like that. And then you've got to get the end of the balloon out. Just like that. So that's a little bit easier. Now I'm going to try and do the same thing with the bigger dinosaurs. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but patience and persistence. Okay, so you might need the help of a grown-up with this one, but I'm going to stretch it over this way, see how we go. And sometimes that happens. That's okay. We've got other ones over here. Should we try a pink one this time? Cool, let's see how we go. The big ones are definitely a lot trickier. That's okay, because you have a grown-up's help there, I'm sure. There you go. All right, so that guy's ready as well. So the next step is to take these over to the tap and put some water in them. Let's go. Okay kids, the next step is to gently pull the end of that balloon over the tap. Again, you might need the help of an adult here. You just hold it in place, just like that, and then gently turn the water on. And you just want to put enough water to cover the dinosaur and not much more, because then it looks better when it's frozen in the shape of an egg. And you just tie the knot in the end of the balloon like that, and that's ready to be frozen and turn into that dinosaur egg. And we'll do the others. Perfect. Now before we tie that, kids, there is one more trick. You just want to try and get all the air out of the top of that. And then you can tie it off. And that one's ready to turn into a dinosaur egg. So there we go, kids. We have all our eggs ready to go into the freezer and become dinosaur eggs. So kids, I've had these dinosaur eggs sitting in the freezer overnight, and you can see that they're really hard. The next thing to do is to peel off the balloon from the outside and see if we can see that dinosaur inside the egg. So let's start with this red one over here. I'm just going to cut around, peel off that balloon. And look at that. Wow, kids, a dinosaur egg. Look, you can see inside. And what kind of dinosaur do we have there, kids? Is that a Triceratops? I think it might be. Let's see what else we can find. What's in the purple one? So when you're using scissors, make sure you be careful. You get a grown-up to help you if you need. And what's in this one? Oh, look at this one. Can you see inside that? Wow, isn't it beautiful? Is that a T-Rex? A big T-Rex in there, inside their eggs. These dinosaurs are ready to just break out of their eggs, aren't they? Now, another fun thing to do, kids, before you break these open is if you've got some little lights, and you remember Ozzie has some lights that I've used in another experiment. That was the lava lamp experiment, isn't it? So they look just like this, and you turn them on, pop it down there. I'm gonna take this big guy. Oh, check that out. How cool does that look? It's a glowing dinosaur egg. Isn't that awesome? And how cool does that look with the lights off? Glowing dinosaur eggs. Now for the fun bit, kids. Let's take these eggs outside because they're going to be pretty messy, and we'll get our hammers and start to crack them open so we can get the dinosaurs out. Let's go. So we've got our eggs outside here, kids, and now is the fun part where we're going to break them open. Now there are a few different ways you can do it. You can pour that water on there, which is just going to help melt the ice a little bit. And then you can start chipping away. with your little hammer, just like that. Or with the help of a grown-up, you can get a big grown-up hammer. We'll just take that off the glass and then you can just start to break it open. Look at that. How cool is that? Look, that dinosaur is starting to come out, isn't it? So make sure you get a grown-up to help you when you're using a hammer like this, because it's big and heavy and you can easily injure yourself if you're not careful. And look at that, kids. We've got our very own dinosaur that we've broken out of the egg that we made. And let's get our other ones out, shall we? Let's get this little one. And there's our second one that's almost out. We can just pour some more water on that and the rest of that ice will melt. And let's get our third one, our big T-Rex. And there's our T-Rex. So there we go, kids. We've got 3 dinosaurs that we've put into our own eggs and then had the fun of hatching or breaking out of those eggs. It's a great experiment. It's very cool. Hope you've had fun doing your very own at home with your balloons and your dinosaurs. We'll see you on the next video, and until then, stay keen. If you haven't already, make sure you get a grown-up to help you hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on any of the new and exciting videos that we put out. Speaking of new and exciting, if there's a video that you'd love to see Ozzie do, make sure you send us a message on our socials, on Facebook or Instagram at Ozzie for Kids. We'll see you again soon, kids. And until then, stay keen. Oh, and by the way, did you happen to find the hidden Ozzie icon in that video? Yeah, make sure you look closely because they're in every single video. That's right. Stay keen, kids.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of mine.
G'day, Ozzie. G'day, Ozzie. G'day, Ozzie. G'day, Ozzie. G'day, Ozzie.
G'day kids, here we are today at the National Dinosaur Museum. Now this place is absolutely amazing. There is so many dinosaurs to check out, but today we're going to focus on carnivores. Now can you help me out? What is a carnivore? That's right, it's a meat eater. Now meat eaters or carnivores usually have lots of big teeth. Speaking of big, sharp teeth, at that, we're going to go through that to get to the other dinosaurs. So can you help me be brave and walk through? Come on kids, let's go check it out. Wow, that guy's cool. Wow, it's huge. Now check this one out, kids. This is a Spinosaurus and it got its name from this awesome looking spine on its back, which is made up of bones covered by skin. I can tell you it is one mean looking dinosaur. It is the biggest carnivore that ever lived, much bigger than the T-Rex. This guy could get up to 18 meters. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't like to come face to face with this guy. Check this out kids, I'm inside the mouth of a Carnotaurus. Big sharp teeth. I'm glad this one's not real. Check this one out, kids. This is a Megalania. It's 6 meters long and it was Australia's #1 predator in the time of the mammals, which is about 10 million years ago. Come on in and let's see what animals we can find. Of course, we're going to see lots of dinosaurs, but there's going to be lots of other animals too. Now, to be a dinosaur, it needs 3 things. It needs to have straight legs, it needs to have scales, and it also needs to lay an egg. So let's go and see what kind of dinosaurs we can find. Now kids, obviously there's no dinosaurs that live anymore. They lived millions and millions of years ago, but there are 3 main periods that the dinosaurs lived. Now the first one, I found this awesome little sign just here, is the Triassic period, and that's from like 250 to 200 million years ago. So just a little bit older than mum and dad. Then the second period is the Jurassic period, and that is from 200 to 145 million years ago. Still a very, very long time ago. And then the third and the more recent one is the Cretaceous period, but that's still 145 to 65 million years ago. So a super, super long time ago. Now kids, I just wanted to point this one out. This one is called a Dimetrodon. It's not actually a dinosaur, but it lived during the dinosaur period. It's a mammal, and you can see this big back, high arch thing there on its back, and it's called a sail, like a boat, and it's made up of bones, and then they're covered by skin. Now these Dimetrodons can grow from 2 to 3 meters. They're pretty big, and they're meat eaters, and they're pretty cool. Now kids, this is a pretty cool setup, isn't it? This is what they would have used in like the early 1900s to put together a skeleton of a dinosaur. Now this skeleton is called an Allosaurus. Now the awesome thing about an Allosaurus is that it can open its mouth almost vertical, and then when it eats its food, it chomps down like that, and it slices through the flesh just like a saw. So kids, we're in an underwater section here, and this is the head skeleton of a mosasaur. Now the thing that I love about mosasaurs is that they have 3 sets of teeth. So they have this row down the bottom, they have this row at the top, and then they have a second row up the top as well, and they used to use that to chomp through the flesh of their prey. So they're meat eaters. They live in water, they like to live in deep oceans, and they were capable of jumping up out of water and eating the prey like pterodactyls or other mosasaurs that used to live underwater. They could grow anywhere between 8 to 12 meters, which is super long. And if you check this out up here, this is the complete skeleton of another type of mosasaur. Now kids, mosasaurs are not considered dinosaurs because they don't have legs and they don't lay eggs. So mosasaurs are marine reptiles, and they lived during the Cretaceous period, which is the more recent of the dinosaur periods. And that is pretty epic. Now kids, I'm standing right here in the mouth of a megalodon, which, just like the sound of its name, it is mega big. It is the biggest shark that ever lived. This one can grow up to 13 to 15 meters long, which is the size of a school bus. Now you might be wondering what I'm holding here. This is a fossil of a megalodon tooth. Now the interesting thing about the teeth of megalodon, just like dinosaurs, they can grow back, but they don't grow back one at a time. They grow back in sets or rows. So if a megalodon was to lose a couple of teeth from the front row, that whole front row would fall out, then this next row would move forward, and then this next row would move forward, and then the next row would grow. So they'd have 4 sets of teeth at once. They are massive, and the last ones died off about 3 million years ago, which is a very long time ago, we know that. And one thing we also know is that these guys were definitely carnivores because they used to snack on whales. Now kids, this dinosaur here has to be one of my favourite Australian dinosaurs. It's actually called an Australorvanator. Now, it is an awesome looking dinosaur. It can grow up to 5 metres long, 2 metres tall, but unlike other carnivores, like T-Rexes and other things, it doesn't use its mouth and its teeth to kill. It actually uses its claws. It has 3 claws on each hand, and the longest claws can grow up to 20 centimetres long. And those claws, they're made out of the same material that our fingernails are made out of. How awesome is that? Now this Australorvanator is the Australian version of the Megaraptor. It has more deadly looking features and sharper claws than the more commonly known Velociraptor. It can run up to 20 k's an hour, and it is a very impressive Australian dinosaur, so make sure you come and check this one out. Now check this one out kids, this one is called a Carnotaurus. You might think it looks a little bit similar to a T-Rex. It does, but there are 2 main differences. If you have a look up there on its head, it has 2 big horns, and then check out these arms. You thought the T-Rex had little arms? The Carnotaurus has absolutely tiny arms. This one is called a Dinosaurus. It is absolutely massive. Look at the size of the head compared to the little crocodile back there. So they can grow up to about 10 metres long, which is about 7 or 8 times the length of this. Now, fun fact is that these guys would eat other dinosaurs that were silly enough to come down and take a drink in the water without paying attention to what's inside the water. All right kids, this is the section that I'm sure most of you have been waiting for, the T-Rex section. Certainly one of my favourite dinosaurs. Now here's some fun facts that you might not have known. T-Rexes don't actually make a loud roar noise that I'm sure most of you think they do. They actually make a low-pitched sound. Now another fun fact that you might not have known is that T-Rexes have feathers running the length of their spine from the back of their head all the way down their tail. Now we're very lucky here today at the National Dinosaur Museum. I've got Nicole joining me, and she is actually going to let Ozzie hold a real life T-Rex tooth.
Pretty cool. It's about 65 million years old.
65 million years old, and is that why, that's why we need to wear these fancy gloves?
We've got to be very, very, very protective of it. Now, this is the real one, but this is actually a replica. But in fact, it's only a little bit of it. So this is the bit you can see from the mouth, and then underneath in the gum, you've actually got all of that. So, you ready?
I am ready.
65 million years old, don't drop it.
I certainly will take very good care of that. Thank you, Nicole. Now check that out, kids. As Nicole said, 65 million years old, and can you believe that this used to sit in the mouth of an actual T-Rex? Now we've seen some T-Rexes inside, kids, but check out this girl behind me. She is absolutely monstrous. All I can say is that I'm pretty glad she's not alive today. Wow kids, what an incredible place this is, the National Dinosaur Museum right here in Canberra. If you ever get the chance, I definitely recommend you come and check it out. Hopefully you've learnt lots today about dinosaurs and all the other animals. I've really loved teaching you lots of things. Kids, we'll see you in our next video. Until then, stay keen and stay away from those carnivores. G'day kids and grown-ups. If you are loving watching and learning with Ozzie, it would be amazing if you could please do me a really big favour and just tell anybody else that you think might enjoy it too. In the meantime, enjoy this brand new episode, and as always, stay keen.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of mine.
G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie.
G'day kids, Ozzie here. Today we've come along to the National Dinosaur Museum, and how awesome is this? We're going to get inside and learn about lots of different dinosaurs, but specifically we're going to learn about herbivores today. Now can you help me out? Do you know what a herbivore is? That's right, a herbivore is a plant eater. Now did you know that herbivores are the biggest dinosaurs? That's right, they're really cool. Now I can't wait to get inside and check them out, so come on, let's get stuck in. Let's see what animals we can find. Of course, we're going to see lots of dinosaurs. There's going to be lots of other animals too. Now, to be a dinosaur, it needs three things. It needs to have straight legs, it needs to have scales, and it also needs to lay an egg. So let's go and see what kind of dinosaurs we can find. Now kids, obviously there's no dinosaurs that live anymore. They lived millions and millions of years ago. But there are three main periods that the dinosaurs lived. Now the first one, I found this awesome little sign just here, is the Triassic period, and that's from like 250 to 200 million years ago. So just a little bit older than mum and dad. Then the second period is the Jurassic period, and that is from 200 to 145 million years ago. Still a very, very long time ago. And then the third and the more recent one is the Cretaceous period, but that's still 145 to 65 million years ago. So a super, super long time ago. But we, through research, have found out so much about dinosaurs. Now come and check this guy out. This is one of my favorites, and this is the Stegosaurus. Come and check it out. All right, kids, now this is called a Stegosaurus. It's an amazing animal, and look at these bony plates at the top here. Now, when these guys were first discovered, they actually thought that these might have been wings. So they might have thought that the Stegosaurus could actually fly. But no, these are actually bones, and you can see that these little nerves that go through here, they can go to the end of those bony plates and change colour. So they can change from this light pinky red to a bright red, so that they can attract a mate or also be used as a defense mechanism. Now, speaking of defense mechanisms, check out this bony tail, these bony spikes at the end here, and that's called a thalamizer, which is a pretty cool word. But the Stegosaurus use that, and they swish their tail around, and they can use those spikes to fend off any prey if they're being attacked. There are lots of cool facts. Speaking of cool facts, these big dinosaurs have the smallest brains out of any of the dinosaurs. Now kids, if you put your hands together like that, that's approximately the size of your brain in your head at home. Now if you do that with your hands, that's like the size of a walnut, and that is the size of the brain in these Stegosaurus. Now that would be a small brain in your head, wouldn't it? But can you imagine that brain in a dinosaur this size? Very, very small, but they look cool, they're super awesome. Let's go and see what other dinosaurs we can find. Come on. Now kids, this guy is called the Plateosaurus, and it's from the Triassic period, which is the earliest period, 250 to 200 million years ago, a very long time ago. Now these guys eat plants, which means they're called a what? A herbivore, very good, and they can grow up to about 10 meters long, which is super long. Now this one here, kids, this one is called a Paracyclotosaurus. Can you say that at home? maybe get the help of mum and dad. A Paracyclotosaurus. It's a tongue twister. But he's an awesome looking animal. It's actually not a dinosaur because it has bent legs. So dinosaurs, what do we say? It needs to have straight legs, scales, and lay eggs. So this is not a dinosaur, but it hunts its prey by laying in water, and it goes just like a crocodile. But it's also got webbed feet. So for that reason, we call it, its other name is a crocofrog. Pretty good one. Paracyclotosaurus or a crocofrog. So kids, we're standing here in the sauropod section, and now the sauropod has 4 legs. They have huge big bodies, big long necks, and super long tails. They are the biggest dinosaurs in the world. In fact, the biggest dinosaur in the world is a sauropod. It's 39 meters long, and it's called an Argentinosaurus. Now these things, if you can imagine, 39 meters is like the length of about 3 school buses, or bigger than this whole building that I'm standing in here. That's long. Now kids, this that I'm standing next to is the back leg bone of a Diplodocus. Now look how tall it is. A Diplodocus could grow up to about 35 meters tall, but if you have a look, this is where its knee would have been, and that is just its leg. It's taller than Ozzie. It's massive. Now if you come over here, these are bones from a Diplodocus tail. Now this Diplodocus would have been about 30 to 40 years old, but these bones are about 150 million years old. It's pretty impressive, isn't it? Now this over here, kids, is a replica of one of the most complete skeletons ever found in the whole world. Now this is a Camarasaurus, and it's about 2 years old. And if you can imagine, when this Camarasaurus was born, it came out in an egg about the size of a soccer ball. Now within 2 years, it grew to be that big. Now kids, come and check this out. This is an awesome part of the National Dinosaur Museum. Some of the exhibits are behind glass, but some of them you can actually touch and feel. Now this is a leg bone of an Apatosaurus. It's 150 million years old. Now that, kids, that's epic. Now kids, we are in the Australian dinosaur section here, and it's interesting to know that most of the dinosaurs in Australia were herbivores. We obviously had lots of tasty plants in Australia, and the most famous Australian dinosaur is this guy here, and his name is a Muttabuttasaurus. Now one of the awesome features of the Muttabuttasaurus is this big lump on its nose. Now can you guess what he used that for? No, it wasn't for headbutting. Do you headbutt with your nose? No, I don't think so. This is part of the nasal passage, which allows the Muttabuttasaurus to make loud grunting noises to communicate and to fend off any prey. These guys could grow up to about 8 meters long, and they're found in outback Queensland in a place called Muttaburra. Now kids, this particular dinosaur here is called a Carnivore. The interesting fact about this dinosaur is that it is the most complete dinosaur fossil in the whole of Australia. Now you can see by looking at this photo, kids, it's actually a mummified skeleton of a dinosaur. You can see the bones, you can see the armoured plates and the skin. Now you can see down here, kids, the stomach contents. So by looking at that, we know that the last meal of this dinosaur was ferns and flowers. So it was a herbivore. So kids, we've seen lots of dinosaurs and different animals inside. Now I believe there are some amazing ones outside. So come with me and let's go find them. So check this out, kids. This is a Triceratops. This is pretty much a life-size replica of what it would have looked like. It would have been about 7 to 8 meters long, but check out these massive horns on its head. And they would use those to defend off any predators like T-Rexes. These guys have little teeth because they were herbivores, so they wouldn't really hurt me. He's my friend. Kids, I'm standing here next to a Brachiosaurus, which has really long front legs compared to its short back legs, and then a little stumpy tail, but look at the size of that neck. And it is super tall so that it can reach high up into the tree to eat those leaves because it is a herbivore. That's right, kids. Awesome stuff. So I've found out here, kids, what's called a Parasaurolophus. You can check out this awesome crest on the back of its head, a bit like a Muttaburrasaurus. It uses that to bring in the air, it goes up and then all the way back out to make really loud noises. So you can see the Parasaurolophus is part of a herd here. This one's definitely my favorite because check out the colors, green and gold, just like Ozzie. Look at this, kids. We know what this one is, don't we? Ozzie's favourite dinosaur, the Stegosaurus. And check out the little baby Stegosaurus. Wow, kids, what an incredible experience it's been here today at the National Dinosaur Museum right here in Canberra. I hope you've learnt lots. I certainly have. Make sure you're coming along and check it out if you're ever in Canberra. Kids, better get out of here before these dinosaurs get me. We'll see you on the next video. And until then, stay keen. Hey kids, did you have lots of fun today watching Ozzie? I hope so. Did you know that we've got a heap of Ozzie episodes on our YouTube channel? If you haven't already, go back and have a scroll through. I reckon you'll find some others that you absolutely love. And while you're there, why don't you hit subscribe? That way you won't miss out on any of our new videos that we bring out. We'll see you again soon, kids. Until then, stay keen. Oh, and by the way, did you happen to find the hidden Ozzie icon in that video? Yeah, make sure you look closely because they're in every single video. That's right. Stay keen, kids.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of mine.